at this point, I don't think anybody should be really surprised that, Microsoft is giving another one of their games to PlayStation. This one sort of hurts a little bit more, I think, because this was a game that they initially showed off with the Xbox Series X back before the thing even launched. This was 2019. Like, this was the showpiece for Xbox. And then the fact of the matter is that, to me, this showcases that Microsoft doesn't care about the hardware, their own hardware whatsoever. Because let's just be real, this game released on PC, this game released on Xbox, you can play it through the cloud, you can play it through everywhere, and it didn't sell very well. And I don't think releasing it on PlayStation is suddenly going to mean that it's a big seller. So it's almost like they know that this game isn't going to sell, but they're going to put it on PlayStation and remove an exclusive anyway. But this all goes in my line of, at some point, there's going to be a situation where they run out of these decent scored games that are going to be able to go to PlayStation, right? It seems like they're getting them all out now, but it's like, how can you actually care about your games and your console if you're putting everything on PlayStation? It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's not even the part that really bugs me, right? Like, to be honest with you. So anyway, I want to get into it. I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews with another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it. It means a lot to me when you guys like the videos. And, I do daily gaming content. So if you're into fun yet informative videos about video games, then hey, you found them. I'm the guy. And I love doing these videos. So, Hellblade 2 officially coming to PlayStation this summer. The game, which was released for Xbox and PC in 2024, will be released on PS5 to celebrate 1-year anniversary, and no specific release date was named. The PS5 version of the game will also include quote-unquote new features that will come to PC and Xbox at the same time as a free patch. However, these features weren't detailed. So here's my issue with this, and I mentioned this in multiple videos, folks, so you can go back and check my videos. When people go, well, who cares? More people get to play the game, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I had known, for me personally, if I had known that Xbox was going to not be into the exclusive business and they were going to give everything to PlayStation, I would have just bought a PlayStation 5 at launch. I certainly wouldn't have wasted my time with buying an Xbox and certainly spending all the money that I did on Xbox games, right? Like, they finally get some decent first-party games and they put them everywhere. So remember the whole just 4 games and it's not going to be a signal that everything's coming. That was all nonsense. I mean, people will refuse to believe that Phil Spencer lies, but, here we go. The other thing is the fact that, okay, we'll get a patch on Xbox and PC when this launches on PlayStation. These patches, and I mentioned this, even the games themselves probably would be ready for Xbox already. Like, this is probably a 60 frames per second patch, to be honest with you. And so again, we are forced to wait to get any kind of update for this game. And, again, we have to wait until Sony gets their version, right? And to me, that just really shows that it's a slap in the face to Xbox fans. Hellblade 2 arrives also optimized for the PlayStation 5 and PS5 Pro, enhanced with added features and immersive haptic feedback for new ways to experience the critically acclaimed next chapter of Senua's story, according to a PlayStation Store listing for the game. Hellblade 2 review, according to this site, said it's a mechanically dated game carried along by its incredible presentational flair. Fans of the first game could perhaps split it across a few nights for a better experience, and the performance from the motion capture and voice actors were great, an amazing experience. Xbox announced last February plans to bring a wave of games to PlayStation and Nintendo, and what appeared to be a significant change of strategy, starting with Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded. Doom, The Dark Ages, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, Forza Horizon 5 have all made their way to PlayStation, with it being widely speculated that all of Microsoft's first-party titles will also come to Sony console going forward. Last November, Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer reiterated that the company won't rule out any first-party game potentially coming to rival platforms such as PlayStation and Nintendo in the future. So, again, listen, this game is not very... I'm kind of surprised by them actually even bothering to do this, because it seems like the money and the time to actually put into a port wouldn't make sense, in my opinion. Because this game didn't sell very well. I mean, I'm sure, well under 500,000 units by every estimate. So, you put it on PlayStation for what exactly? I get that there's a lot of users on PlayStation, but it's not like, a year later, people that have a PlayStation didn't have access to an Xbox or cloud or a PC. It's like the people that probably really were into this game, which I never heard anybody say, oh man, I'm really into Hellblade, because the game plays very linear. It looks fantastic, as you can see. Like, I played it, but this game was just a game that, if I'm honest, is not fun to play. It's like, there's just certain elements to it. It's like, how game, like, for me, I guess it depends on how you feel about games, but, for me, the game has to be kind of fun. You get a smile on your face, and there's certain games that, while technically good, aren't fun. And this is one of those games, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of a sad situation. And listen, we knew it. Everybody knew it. Microsoft can't, they canceled FanFest. There's lots of rumors about different things happening in the industry right now. But for me, it's like, what's the main things that are going to kind of draw people to an Xbox in the future? And there's not really one. I mean, people say Game Pass, and my only kind of conflict to that is, hasn't that already tapped out? I mean, if you can get Game Pass on a cloud or a PC, why would you bother with an Xbox console even? You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that it's kind of an unfortunate situation. Like, how are you going to sell people on your platform? And then, like the other day, there was the rumors, which we've seen these rumors multiple times before. And, like, listen, I'm interested to see what they have to say. But, like, here's the thing. If they do indeed figure out a way to do, PC stuff on there, it's like, that means that they can't subsidize their console. And if you can't subsidize the console, you might have a situation where an Xbox, or this hybrid Xbox, or whatever they want to kind of parade it as, is literally $800, $900, because they're not going to get that money back from people that pay online. They're not going to get that money back from, third-party sales, because people aren't going to buy the Xbox version of games when the Steam version is usually $10, $20 cheaper. And not only that, but you also have a situation where developers might go, why would we bother doing an Xbox version when we could just, let's just skip that and just do a Steam version, and if people want it. So then you get like a less optimized version, because, like, even though I'm not like super technical on PC and things like that, one of the things that makes PC gaming is that they make it for a PC, and then everybody kind of, has to adjust their things. I mean, sometimes I guess it's auto or whatever, but people more often than not have to, like, they make adjustments to the games that they're playing to get, the best performance, because it's not specifically tailored to that platform, which is what I like about consoles. Is, you buy a game for a PS5, it is specifically tailored to that console. You buy a game for Xbox Series X, it's specifically tailored for that console. You don't got to mess with anything, you don't got to do anything. It's just, a really cool thing to see. And, at the end of the day, that's how I like to game personally. But, people often will, talk about that as being like a big deal. I don't see it. And there was also obviously news that came out that says that Sony could easily block PlayStation games from being played on such a device. So, I know there was some Xbox fans that were kind of celebrating, hey, we would get to play PlayStation games. And listen, I don't think Sony would even bother to block those games, but they could if they wanted to. And, again, so it's like Microsoft basically forces gamers to buy a PC that don't really want one. And, I think that opens a whole bag of nonsense. But I'm curious to hear what everybody else thinks about this. Like I said, I knew it. Every game is going to come sooner. Like, the only reason this game didn't go day one was obviously because it was in development for Xbox alone for many, many, many years. And then, clearly it takes time to port these games. So, I would expect everything. And when they do their showcase everything is going to be on PlayStation day one. Unfortunately, it's not that, like I said, that more people get to play it. It's that, you know, it delays the release of patches, it delays the release of updates, it delays the release of games. So, I mean, you know, anyway, end of an era. Let me know what you guys think. Crap Gamer out.